Good evening and welcome. You are with Hendri de Klerk from Ultima Financial Planners on this week's edition of Kingdom Wealth through Financial Planning, your weekly financial program on Impact Radio, where we aim to equip and to inspire our listeners to make better financial decisions based on biblical principles. We are in the month of June and we will be talking about debt this month. A very topical topic, very relevant. So tune in, join us this month as we journey through a couple of interesting topics within the wider topic of debt. And hope you will also then be able to learn something as we venture and go through all of this. I just want to, before we start, just once again remind our listeners, we will be very shortly and soon be launching Flow Conference 2025, which will occur on the 11th of October, and that's a Saturday, the second Saturday in October. And I am so super excited. We've got some amazing speakers lined up for this year's conference, and we will get into that once we launch it, but I am excited. Diarize it, put it out there, and make sure that you will be able to join us for that event. So if we're kicking off, and as we're kicking off the month of June and talking about debt, today we're going to explore a couple of things. We're going to explore the difference between acceptable and bad credit. We're going to explore why bad credit is toxic, how acceptable credit can help to build wealth, and what the Bible says about debt, and then how debt affects your ability to plan financially, as well as how to break free from bad credit, and how to cultivate a lifestyle that helps you to stay out of debt. So let's start off understanding debt, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Let's start by clearing up something. Not all debt is bad. There's a difference between acceptable or constructive debt and bad or destructive debt. Acceptable debt is debt that helps you build your future. Think of a home loan to buy a house, a student loan to invest in your education, or a business loan that helps you to generate income. These can be stepping stones to build wealth as long as they are used wisely and you have a repayment plan. Bad debt, on the other hand, is typically debt used to fund a lifestyle you can't afford, such as credit balances from impulse purchases, payday loans with sky-high interest rates, buying luxury goods or vacations on credit without a repayment plan. Bad debt is like a slow leak in your financial boat. Over time, it sinks your progress. So why bad debt is toxic? Let's talk about that. So why is bad debt such a danger? Firstly, it's expensive. Bad debt often comes at a high interest rate, so that 5,000 purchase could cost you 8,000 Rand more once interest is added. It steals from your future. Every Rand you invest or in interest, every Rand in interest you pay is a Rand you're not investing or saving. It causes stress and relationship strain. Financial pressure is one of the leading causes of anxiety and even divorce. So it blocks progress in financial planning. Research shows that individuals in high levels of debt are far less likely to set financial goals, save regularly, or invest for the future. According to a study published by the Financial Planning Standards Board, people with high unsecured debt, like for instance credit card debt, are more likely to delay retirement planning, cancel insurance, and avoid budgeting altogether due to emotional overwhelm and decision fatigue. It traps you. Instead of working towards financial freedom, you're working to pay off the past. Proverbs 22 verse 7 puts it plainly. The rich rules over the poor, and the borrower is servant to the lender. That's not just financial advice, that's a warning. And it is not financial advice, this is just information that we share. But it is a warning, and debt can enslave us if not handled with wisdom. When debt can help you, let's talk about that. For example, a mortgage helps you acquire a home. An appreciating asset is a home. Okay, a student loan gives you skills and qualifications that can lead to a better income. A responsible business loan can help you scale your business and increase your earnings potential. Here's the key. Only take on debt when you know how it will be repaid and when the return is greater than the cost. Romans 13 verse 8 encourages us, owing no one anything except to love each other. Well, this not may mean zero debt ever. It clearly encourages living within our means and being financially responsible. Now this Romans 13 verse 8, next week I'm going to do a full program on the whole debt debate. Because I've had listeners contacting me after this program when we talk about debt and saying like the word is clear, the scripture is clear, you cannot owe anything to anyone. I'm going to just put it in perspective. And I've done some research. I have some other experts as well that's also commented on the subject. And we're going to park that for next week because it's going to be a goodie. It's going to be a good conversation next week once we talk about the debt debate. Let's go to our fourth segment for the evening, breaking free from debt. If you're in bad debt right now, know this. You're not alone, number one, and you are not beyond hope. Here are 5 steps to help you break free. Firstly, face the truth. List all your debts, interest rates, and monthly payments. Stop digging. Don't take on new debt. Cut up the cards if you need to. Do whatever is needed to get away from this repeating process. Build a budget. Tell your money where to go. Prioritize needs over wants. And use the snowball method. Pay off the smallest debt first, or paying minimums on the rest. As each debt falls away, the momentum builds. Other way of approaching it is also looking at which interest rates are the lowest and start off with those. But I must agree, I think it is easy if you can just pay off all the smaller ones, and it gets easier if needed. Seek help if needed. Talk to a financial coach, a lifestyle planner, or someone in your church ministry, or even consider debt rescue if you really need that. If the amount of debt you've incurred is so tremendously high, it's going to have to be consolidated, and you have to go through a process, and you have to own up to the fact that this is a crisis. You're going to have to fix this first. It's going to mean that you don't have any credit record whatsoever, but it will mean you, and it will give you the opportunity to fix things first and then to move on. Remember what 2 Kings 4 teaches us. A widow in debt came to Elisha. He helped her use what she had, a small jar of oil, to generate income and repay what she owed. God cares about your financial freedom. And this is so true. This is so relevant that one has to really intentionally decide that you want to break free from the whole recurring cycle of debt. There's a saying, till debt do you part, and that's true. I mean, it's a really a big hole that you are digging, and it's very difficult for anyone to get out of that situation. You're going to be intentional about it. You probably need some advice, some coaching from a seasoned expert in this area. And this is the reality. You're gonna have to get some advice, and you're gonna have to take it. You can't continue going as you are. You're gonna reach a place where you will be sequestrated, and that's the worst option available for you. So take these pointers. Talk to someone. I think it's important also. Talk to someone at your church if you don't feel comfortable with anyone in your family. But reach out and talk to someone that can help you and assist you to put together a plan of action to help you get out of this hole and to move on. I've spoken to many individuals who has been able to recover and to change their circumstances, getting out of debt. And it is so liberating to hear their stories. It's so liberating to understand what the effect is of getting away from this burden of debt. And this is such an important one. And for all our younger listeners, if you are starting out your career and you get this down and you can understand why certain things is important, it's great for you to get this info and to get it down so that you don't fall in this trap. Because it's something that happens gradually, and before you know it and you wipe your eyes out, you are so deep into trouble with debt. And I noticed that a lot of younger millennials and younger individuals don't find it difficult to use their credit cards and to ramp up a lot of debt that is going to actually be difficult to repay at the end of the day. My best bit of pointers that I can give you to ensure that you don't get into a place of debt is to consider the emergency fund, which is a whole different topic. But if you have an emergency fund and something happens, which is usually that final nail in the coffin, you have incurred debt and you have now worked on your credit card, you have used it a couple of times, you've purchased a couple of things, and now something strikes and something happens and you've got no margin on your finances. Now you're going to actually go further into debt, and that's usually the step where, like I say, it's the final nail in the coffin. If you have an emergency fund which can cater for all those emergencies that might happen around your house, around your car, around the family maybe, then it will help you hugely to not incur debt at that point in time. So very important for us to consider that and to talk about that, and to consider the emergency fund as a way of doing that. So for a start, and this is just for a start, if you haven't saved towards an emergency fund, just get your first milestone should be 1 month of after-tax income. Once you've reached 1 month, you're going to go to 3 months. If you've got a job that was at risk during the COVID time when we had lockdowns, then you're going to try and aim for 6 months, because then you know certain things can happen around the world that's going to force you to actually be out of work for longer periods of time, and that means you need to build up your emergency fund. But first milestone is 1 month of your after-tax earnings for your household, then get to 3 months, and then if your job or your type of work is at risk, as you might have seen through COVID, then it might go up to 6 months. Okay. Life happens, we know it. Your car breaks down, your fridge gives up, family member needs help. We should be able to help them as brothers and sisters in Christ, and we should be able to have an emergency fund to help in those situations, so that we don't go to a place where we have to actually incur debt. Proverbs 21 verse 20 says, "The wise store up choice food and olive oil, but fools gulp theirs down." So the wise prepare, they save, they live, and there's a whole teaching, there's a whole session on emergency fund, which I'm going to refer to now, and I'm going to park this discussion so that we can move on. Okay, our next segment is on a new mindset, a new story. So debt is not just about numbers, it's about your relationship with money. Here are some mindset shifts that might be helpful. Firstly, I don't borrow to impress others. Really important, I don't borrow to impress others. If you can get away from this, it will really be a huge step in creating freedom and victory over this area. Secondly, I use money to serve my goals, not my emotions. Thirdly, I prepare for the future, not just live for today. And fourthly, I honor God with how I manage what He has given me. So you don't need to wait for more income to begin this journey. You can start with what you have, and just like the widow with the oil, use that and apply that. But I'm going to just stand still a bit with these 4 concepts. So I don't borrow to impress others. So there's I think it was Dave Ramsey that said what we do is we buy cars to impress our neighbors that is not really even interested in us. So you buy your car to impress the Joneses, or your neighbors, and they don't really worry about that, and they don't have a concern about that, or they don't even think about it for practical purposes. So I think this is a really important one in our current society, where we do measure up, we do have a look, and what car is that person driving, or what. I can assure you that some of my clients who has been the most successful with financial planning are those that are driving old cars, keeping them up and taking care of those, maintaining those cars very well, but it's older cars, it's not the newest thing on the market. And also this whole society of buying the newest when it comes out, may it be gaming consoles or what it might be, maybe the newest laptop. One has to be very careful of that. Okay, I use money to serve my goals, not my emotions. If you're an emotional buyer, i.e. when you're down and you're feeling depressed, maybe you go out and you buy a lot, then you have to be careful and make sure, build in some checks. Okay, there's spend trackers that can help you so that you can limit how much you spend in each area. Okay, I prepare for the future, not live just for today, which is very important. If we just live for today, then we're going to spend, we're not going to worry about how debt will be repaid. And then I honor God with how I manage what He has given me, and that speaks to stewardship. That's good stewardship. God honors us. He wants us to be good stewards of what He has entrusted with us, and therefore we need to be good stewards in return. Okay. So your story doesn't end with debt. That's the reality this evening. You can write a new chapter, one of wisdom, freedom, and peace. God is not angry at you for your financial mistakes, but He is inviting you into a better way, a life of stewardship, discipline, and generosity. If you need help, reach out to someone you trust. There is no shame in asking for guidance, only wisdom. Until next time, I will see you again. It's been great to share the story with you. I just want to remind our listeners this evening that Flow Conference will be launched soon. There will be an early bird special this year. We're going to just give a bit of a special from a price perspective for those early birds in the first 2 weeks to book your place. And then we're going to also start revealing who our speakers will be for this year. But I hope this evening was also helpful for you to position yourself also in terms of debt. Like I say, don't miss next week. Next week I'm going to have the debt debate. I'm going to debate Romans 13 verse 8. As I said, I've had many conversations with individuals that believe that all debt is purely bad. Okay, I'm not going to tell you now this evening what I think and what I believe of this. You must tune in next week, and you'll listen and you'll hear. There's a very good case that we're going to make out for what we are saying, but looking forward to that. There's a reason why I say we get acceptable credit and bad credit, not good, because I don't think any credit is good, but something can be acceptable and can actually help you at the end of the day to build wealth. But that we'll unpack next week. Thank you for joining me this evening. Until we meet each other again, and all that's left for me to say is God bless and happy planning.